Hello there, I'm Tigster2005 of the Prequelgang, and welcome to another episode of Tigster Talks, the show where I talk about things by myself. Recently, and by recently I mean like 2 days ago on Sunday, it's Tuesday when I'm recording this, I watched Iron Man 2, the third installment of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and as the title suggests, it was a massive disappointment in the best possible way. So what do I mean by that? Well, after watching the first Iron Man movie and coming off of The Incredible Hulk, I was expecting this movie to be like absolutely amazing, just like the first one. And while I didn't really get that from this movie as much as I did from the first one, I do think that, being a sequel, it does, as a sequel, it is still good. Like it's the way it tells, like the story that it tells is still, it's a good story, and it's kind of the logical next step from the ending of Iron Man 1. Now, disclaimer, this video will spoil Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 1 to an extent. So if you haven't watched these movies yet, go ahead, do that. I won't spoil any of the other movies because I haven't watched them, but I will be spoiling Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 1, and I don't know if I'll spoil Incredible Hulk because I don't know. I might talk about it, but this video is about Iron Man 2, so yeah. So after Iron Man 1's ending with Tony Stark basically saying that he is Iron Man and all of that, well, basically everything changed for him. He's now showing off his suit to like all of the conventions that he's in, like Tony Stark Expo or whatever. Forgot what it's called. But then there was also like some legal charges against him that, oh, you shouldn't be in possession of this. And then like that scene in the court, that was like, it's pretty cool with like Tony's dialogue there, like the way he handled that situation, just dissing everyone there. And then Rhodey comes in, the character from who was in the first movie, but he was recast. It's not the same actor playing him, which, yeah, it's a different actor now, which I don't really appreciate that, but like, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, so if they had to recast him, it's whatever, but I'm just not a fan of recastings in general, like, especially, like, you might, I don't know how to explain this, but basically, if you're used to a character looking one way and then it's a different person in the next movie, it can be a little jarring. I had the same problem when watching the Harry Potter movies, and in the third one, Professor Dumbledore looked different because different actor, and same thing here. And from what I hear, they recast Hulk when they made the Avengers, so I guess I'll have that to look forward to, I guess. Yeah, but back on topic, that scene was brilliant, and then after that, we do see some, like, the main villain, Anton Vankov. He's like, he basically, like, was inspired by Iron Man's design and was making his own sort of thing with these electric whips, and apparently he had like some grudge against Tony Stark's dad or something, and yeah, then there's like this fight scene, and the key thing here is that like, according to Tony Stark, this design shouldn't have been like replicated by anyone for like at least another 5 years, but then it was happening, and then the city was being attacked. So yeah, that's a problem. So like, they shouldn't, this design isn't going to be like replicated. And then here's this guy, just he comes in with this sort of kind of like Iron Man type of suit, but it's still different. Yeah, and attacks and stuff. And meanwhile, back in, Stark Industries, his company, like, stuff is kind of not going very well, and Tony Stark appoints his assistant, Pepper Potts, to be like the new CEO, and there's like a lot of drama, I guess, between them. especially when Tony is being a little bit irresponsible, and Pepper is getting just really annoyed about that, and she just gets super pissed eventually, like Tony, I'm trying to do the job that you were too lazy to do. Something like that. Yeah, I felt that I don't think I would have really expected that, coming off of the first movie, but looking back on it, it makes perfect sense. Like, Tony wasn't exactly, they never really showed him to be a very, what's the word I'm looking for? A very, good manager, I guess. He was always just kind of doing his own thing, or rather, he started just doing his own thing after, he got back from like, imprisonment in the first movie, and then he started making Iron Man, and then, well, yeah, Iron Man basically changed everything. I'm talking about the suit here, not the person. The Iron Man suit basically changed everything for Tony and his company and all that. So, another thing, was that, the thing that's, like, in Tony's chest, the thing that's, like, keeping him alive, it was, like, running on a power source that was, he had to constantly change the cores and stuff, and he couldn't find a good alternative, and eventually, Nick Fury, who was, like, the guy from the first, Iron Man movie in the post-credits scene, he comes in and he's like, yo, Tony, I knew your dad, and you can figure this out, and eventually, like, Tony gets into a, well, first Tony gets into a fight with Rhodey. Like, Rhodey basically goes into Tony's basement and steals one of his Iron Man suits, and then there's, like, a fight going down there because, like, Rhodey's like, yeah, Tony's, like, being irresponsible and all that, so, he needs to do something about that. Meanwhile, Tony's just very drunk, and there's a party going on in his house, well, it's a house, probably, like, maybe it's, like, a mansion, that would probably be, like, a better word to describe it, but his place of residence, let's call it that. Yeah, that happens, and then, Tony needs to figure out how to make a new element, I guess, to power the thing that's keeping him alive, and eventually he, like, finds recordings of his dad doing stuff, and Tony explains that, he he never thought of his father in a very positive way. He was apparently he was always like he didn't think that he loved him and all that. But then then he comes across a video recording of his dad saying that, like, oh yeah, Tony, I know you're too young for this at the time of this recording, but you're gonna do stuff, and and you can figure this out and all that. Then he actually uses the model of the future city thing to, like, make the new the new element to power his suit and to keep him alive. And he does that. Meanwhile, the other plot, the villain of this movie, Vankov, is working with the military, like the United States military, basically, to create more Iron Man type suits and stuff like that. And eventually they succeed, and Tony and Rhodey have to like fight all of them, and it's like this big fight scene, which is done really well, I must say. It was definitely a good scene with all that. And then the movie kind of ends like I forgot how it ends. Like, it's on the rooftop with Tony and Pepper and Rhodey there, and then Tony's like, hey, Rhodey was like, Tony, can I borrow the suit for a while? And I'm gonna borrow the suit for a while, and Tony's like, no, and Rhodey's like, it wasn't a question, and he just flies away. So that was Iron Man 2. I think there's definitely more to it than I described, but yeah, that's kind of like there's a lot going on in this movie, and it's definitely not as good as the first one. However, I do think that this movie is definitely I enjoyed watching it. Although I do see it like when I've seen a couple of like MCU rankings like worst to best, and Iron Man 2 is like near the bottom. Usually like the movies I see at the bottom are like Thor: The Dark World, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, and The Incredible Hulk. But I don't know, Iron Man 2, I liked it. It was good. And yeah, so oh, and the post-credit scene. Right, so basically it's just one of the dudes from like the military or something. It was just a guy looking at this big hammer thing, which I'm assuming belongs to Thor, another Marvel superhero dude, and yeah, then that's the post-credit scene. And speaking of Thor, that's the next MCU movie, and I'm probably watching that tonight, if I recall correctly. So, yeah, I guess look forward to the Thor video whenever I make that. So, yeah, like and subscribe, hit the bell, follow us on Discord, join our Discord server.
Oh, no, you can't get away with that one. I'm leaving that one in. I could very well cut that out, but I'm not gonna. You gotta live with your embarrassment now. Yeah, you do. How's it feel? Follow us on Discord? How's it feel? You wanna tell the audience how ashamed of yourself you are? Follow us on Discord?
Follow us on Instagram and Twitch, and keep having the high ground.